Would you believe me if I told you that there are evil eyes on your hair? Some of you, your hair is cursed, and some of you, you're always falling into the hands of the wrong hairdresser. You're allowing the wrong people to touch your hair, and as a result of that, evil eyes is on your hair. And when there's evil eyes on your hair, there is a familiar spirit going on there that wants to destroy your hair. And as much as a lot of people don't actually take their hair seriously, or they don't look after their hair, or they don't know the importance of their hair, when your hair is, how do I say it? When your hair is cursed, or when evil hands and evil eyes is on your hair, they want to attack it. Okay, they want to attack it because your hair is your glory. Hair is your covering. Hair is part of beauty, and a beautiful hair, a well-nourished, beautiful looking hair signifies a lot of things. In the Bible, we come across a person in the Bible whose hair was used to give them strength, and that was Samson, right? His hair had strength, and the secret to his strength, the secret to him being so strong, was in his hair. Okay, so for some people, your hair, signifies a lot of things spiritually. And there's some of you who are spiritual, but for some reason, you're not spiritually awake to understand that some of you need to stop going to the hairdresser and start doing your hair yourself, because you are very prone to be attacked spiritually. And this video won't be for a lot of people, and a lot of people might not understand what I'm saying in this video, and that's okay, because this video is not really for a lot of people. If you know what I'm talking about and you can resonate with what I'm talking about, then this video is for you. If you listen to this video and you're left confused and you're just like, well, what the hell is she on about? Like, she's getting too spiritual, I don't know what she's on about, then this video is not for you. Okay, so the thing is, when you allow people to touch your hair, when you allow a hairdresser to touch your hair, you are allowing her to have, you're indirectly giving her permission to do anything she wants to do to your hair. Some of you've come across hairdressers who've cut your hair, trimmed your hair, and they've used your hair to do some kind of witchcraft, to do some kind of voodoo. And as a result of that, you've been having migraine issues. Your hair hasn't been growing. Your hair don't look beautiful. Your marital life is messed up. Your own personal life is messed up. You don't look beautiful anymore. You've resorted to just wearing wigs 24/7. And so things like this, we have to be very, very careful. Now, the reason why some of you will have evil eyes on your hair is because there's a familiar spirit going on. And when there's a familiar spirit going on, that familiar spirit will allow you to fall into the hands of the wrong person in order for them to be able to do the attack that they want to do to your hair or to your head. Now, a familiar spirit is a familiar spirit is a demonic spirit that runs in the family. So if you look at your family and you look at all the women in your family, you have to be very honest. Some of you come from a family where all the women in your family, they don't have beautiful hair. They have hair, but they've got a lot of health issues. As a result of that, they're not looking after their hair. They're just, putting it to protective styling, back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back, and they don't have beautiful hair at all. Some of you, all the women in your family, they've all got marital issues. They're all unhappily married. Like, you can tell that there's some kind of curse and some kind of pattern going on with every woman in the family. And if you're watching this video, then you're that one person in the family who's ready to come out of that and to make a change. So the familiar spirit is that pattern. It's a pattern that's going on. And in the hair department, you realize that all of them don't have beautiful hair. They've never had long hair, or maybe when they were young they had beautiful hair, they had long hair, and as they got older their hair is just horrible, their hair is messed up, their own personal life is messed up. Like, it's just going downhill, it's not getting any better. So these are the things that you need to watch out for. Now I'm looking down because I've got notes on my phone, so I don't want to forget what I'm saying in this video. Now the purpose of the familiar spirit is to mess up with the crown. Okay, your head, your hair is your crown, and that's why it's important to not just let anyone touch your hair. Don't let anyone have access to your hair. And it's very important for you to pray all the time, because when you pray all the time, it's not going to be easy for someone to spiritually, touch your hair. So another thing that I have here is that it is so important for you. Actually, no, let me not get into that. Let me talk about one more thing about this familiar spirit. This familiar spirit will allow you to fall into the hands of the wrong people, and you're going to notice a pattern within all the hairdressers that you've used. So for example, before I did the big chop, 3.5 years ago, all the hairdressers I've had in the past, I've had different types of hairdressers, right? And all the hairdressers I've had in the past have something in common. One, they don't have a certificate or a license to be qualified to do people's hair. Two, their own hair, right, wasn't nice at all. Like, they did not embody good hair. They did not embody healthy hair. They did not embody beautiful hair. All the previous hairdressers that I went to in the past, they will do my hair. While doing my hair, take a break, eat something, come back, do my hair, take a break, go pick up the child, come back, do my hair. Or while they're doing my hair, they're doing somebody else's hair and my hair. Like, it was the same pattern with all the hairdressers that I've met. Another thing with all of them was my edges. Like, for some reason, I would tell them, okay, I want to do chunky braids. And they would say, okay. Instead of them to explain to me and say, you can't do chunky braids because you've got fine hair and it's going to rip your edges out, they would do it and my edges would rip out literally 3 to 4 days later. Because a good professional hairdresser, if you ask her to do a style and she knows that style is going to mess up with your hair, she's going to say no. And I've come across a hairdresser like this. It's just, she's never done my hair because I couldn't afford to. I've come across a hairdresser who's declined a client's request because she knew that what that client had requested for was going to mess her hair up. And she didn't want that image. So she said no. So this familiar spirit will allow you to fall into the wrong hairdressers, and you're going to realize that they all have that pattern. Some of you, you're always going to hairdressers who do your hair in their own house. So you have this pattern of those, those hairdressers that are not licensed to do your hair, so they do in the corner of the house, and everyone's coming into the house, the family's there, they're cooking, they're doing your hair, they're watching TV doing your hair, they're going out, they're coming in doing your hair. And I know some of you, you've never come across someone professional, so you see that as, well, that's normal, like that's what black people do, but it's not. Now, one of the ways to avoid this is to have a standard on the type of people that can touch your hair. To be honest with you, if you notice this in your family where they all have messed up hair and they all go to hairdressers, and even with the hairdresser and everything, they all still have messed up hair, I would say it's time for you to take a break and take charge of your own hair for a while, first of all. But the second thing is, you now need to set standard on the type of hairdresser you go to. So for me personally, I don't even go to hairdressers anymore. I just, I take care of my own hair because honestly, I don't really ask for too much. If you know me on this channel, I'm not the type to always I'm not obsessed with styles. If I find something that suits me, I could stick to that for 1 month, 2 months. I'm okay, I'm good, because at the end of the day, I want to get to a point where I just get to enjoy my own hair and I don't have to depend on extensions. So that's really the goal for me. But for those of you who would still prefer to go to a hairdresser, you now need to set the standard. So for someone who's fallen a victim of the things I've said before, your standard now should be, if I'm going to a hairdresser, I need to see and make sure that she's got a license. She needs to embody beautiful hair. She needs to embody healthy hair. Her client needs to be proof to me that she knows how to take care of hair. Her own hair needs to be proof to me that she knows what she's doing and she's good at what she's doing. Does that make sense? So if you're someone who's always going to people's house and they're doing your hair in their own house, and you realize that there's always a problem. You now need to set the standards. It's high time that you set the standards and realize that if a hairdresser can't meet my standard, then that's it. If I go to a hairdresser and you're eating while doing my hair, you're not taking my hair seriously, we're done. There is no, oh, but I'm your mom's friend and we've known each other for da 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 da. Nuh-uh, we're done. Because when you go home and have migraines and headaches and bad dreams, your hairdresser is not there to help you spiritually. Your hairdresser is not there to come pray for you. Your hairdresser is not there to come help you out. You're on your own. So you have to be very, very strict. And this is something I regret so much. I wish I had spoken out in the past. I wish I had done that. I really wish I had done that instead of me just sitting down there keeping my mouth shut. But now obviously I can't do that because I take charge of my hair. And it's funny because now that I take charge of my hair, all these previous old hairdressers, when they see me, they're like, oh, Dami, come, I can do your hair. I'm like, Now that you see that my hair is thriving, now you're like, oh, I want to do your hair. When you were doing my hair before, my hair was not thriving. Okay, my hair was not thriving. And for some of you, it's not because the hairdresser is bad. Sometimes some of you, your destiny, your spirit man just doesn't like it when other people touch your hair. That's it for some of you. Some of you, your spirit just doesn't like it when other people touch your hair. Right now, the thought of somebody doing my hair just irks me. It just irks me that I just cannot let people touch my hair. I don't even let my mom touch my hair. That's how like protective I am over this crown. Okay, so that's the thing about familiar spirit. How do we avoid these evil eyes on your hair? First of all, stop letting strangers touch your hair. That's rule number one. So you might go somewhere and you have good hair and someone's like, oh, can I touch your hair? Can I feel your hair? No. Don't feel guilty saying no. Don't. It's your hair. You have to protect it. Don't feel guilty saying no. Second thing is you've got to create standards. There've got to be a particular standard in order for you to touch my hair. You've got to meet my requirements in order for you to touch my hair. We talk so much about dating requirements and marriage requirements. You need to have hairdressers requirements, okay? There's a certain hairdresser. You got to look a certain way. You've got to embody it before you have access to be touching my hair. Another thing as well, let me see what I wrote on my notes so I don't forget, is that the environment of the hairdresser. This is so important because if you tell me that you can do my hair and I see that you've got good hair, but the environment irks me, you're still not going to touch my hair. You're not going to touch my hair. I'm not even convinced that you could be so good at your job, because if the environment irks me, when you do my hair, it's going to irk me. Does that make sense? A few months ago, there's a particular girl I go to get my facials, right? And she embodies beautiful skin. She embodies beautiful hair. Her environment is just, I love it. I love it so much. And there was one time where I wasn't able to go to her place. So I just said, you know what, let me find someone locally, because the girl who does my facial, she's in London. But I said, let me just find someone locally and just get it done there instead of me going all the way to London. So I found someone locally online and I went down to the place to go get the facial. And when I walked in, I was like the whole environment just irked me. But I just said, you know what, let me not be too picky. Let me just, maybe she's good, you know, maybe the environment is just like that, but maybe she's still good. And then she did the facial. And when she did the facial, I just didn't feel like, I did, like, if you're someone who does facials, right? When you do a good facial, you walk out feeling fresh. You walk out feeling youthful. You walk out like, I just woke up like this kind of like aura, right? But in this place, I walked out like I just moisturized my face. It didn't even feel like I did a facial. It didn't feel like I was treating myself. It didn't feel like I spent 120 pounds getting this done. And I said to myself, the next time anyone has access to my face, The environment needs to look spotless. Like, we're talking about my face here, okay? There's only one face. I can't get another one. So I had to set the standard that, and I went back to my other place in London and I told her, I said, listen, I decided to, try somewhere else, hoping that it would be better. And the place just irked me. And when she did the facial and everything, I didn't even feel like I got a facial done. I just felt like she moisturized my face and that was it. Like, it just did not reflect. So it's so important that the environment is just as good. If you're walking into an environment to get some beauty stuff done, it needs to look up to your standard. For me, I love a place where it's bright. It's got to be bright. I don't like dull looking, dark, raggedy, smelly places. I don't like it. This is why my can you see how like clean my setting is? It's just white and plain. I love things that are just bright. I just love it. I feel like it looks good on my skin. It looks good on me. I just love it. I don't like places that are dull and dark and too busy and too noisy and everything is just, it's just looking like a clown or like a circus, right? But that's my standard. Your standard might just be, as long as she's clean and it smells good, I'm good. But whatever it is, just make sure that you have standards on the type of hairdressers that can touch your hair. Another thing is, I think that's everything I've actually put down here as well. Yes, listening to the Holy Spirit. This is something that I talked about in the previous video. If you watch the video of Does God Care About Hair, I talked about how the Holy Spirit sometimes tells me the products I should use on my hair and what I should use on my hair and how God does care about your hair. And listening to the Holy Spirit is very, very important. If you're having dreams about your hairdresser doing your hair, it's a very bad dream. It's a very bad dream. You should not be having dreams of people doing your hair. You should not be having dreams of stranger touching your hair. You shouldn't be having dreams of things crawling on your hair. If you're having these type of dreams, stop going to the hairdresser and it's time for you to take charge of your hair. It's time for you to be the boss babe of your hair. Okay, this is what I had to do when I got rid of that damaged hair. When I did that big chop, it wasn't just a physical big chop. It was chopping off all the evil hands that have been touching my hair. It was chopping off all the bad encounters I've had with all these previous hairdressers. We were chopping that off. We were chopping off basic standards. Like, I was chopping off a lot of things. It wasn't just the hair. Okay, so understand that the Holy Spirit will guide you. Listen to that Holy Spirit. Be in tune with the Holy Spirit. And if you walk into a place and it's not sitting right with you, like you're just not, something isn't comfortable, just go back out. Just walk quietly and go back home. Don't bother. Because if you do, it might be really difficult for you to rectify that mistake. It might be very difficult and it might just take you a very, very long time because it's not every mistake that is reversible. So that is it for this video. If you have any bad experiences with hairdressers, evil eyes on your hair, or any opinion, make sure you do write it in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button and I will see you next time. Bye.